Hey, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a wrestling fan, you've probably watched or at least heard of the Mixed Match Challenge, that fun little tournament that WWE ran back in 2018 twice, and of course it comprised of mixed tag teams, one man, one woman. Now a lot of these were pretty random, but they were also really fun as well, such as Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss, The Miz and Asuka, R-Truth and Carmella, so many others. But I think it'd be really cool if they brought back the Mixed Match Challenge and did it with the current roster, just because I feel like there are endless possibilities for how fun a lot of just random tag teams could be. And so that's what I'm going to be doing in WWE 2K23, but there are just so many possibilities for what mixed tag teams there could be, so I'm just going to completely randomize this with this random wheel here. So I made two wheels, one for the men, one for the women, and I included almost every single person currently with WWE, so that includes NXT, so we might just get a bunch of NXT people in this as well. But yeah, I did this for the men, and here's the women's wheel that I did. And so, well, it's time to get spinning and just find out what these teams are going to be. Now this first spin is to determine the first man on the first team. It's a lot of firsts, but it is going to be none other than Finn Balor. Now Finn Balor, an experienced mixed match challenger, doing this with Sasha Banks, so should be interesting to see who his tag team partner is going to be this time. Alright, now this spin is going to determine who will be partnering up with Finn Balor, and that looks like it's going to be none other than Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai and Finn Balor, I feel like that should be a pretty fun team. Alright, now this is going to determine the second team in this mixed match challenge, and that is going to be Damian Priest. Wow, okay. Damian Priest and Finn Balor, both at Judgment Day, could face off at some point. Alright, now we're going to find out who will be Damian Priest's partner, and it looks like we're heading to NXT for the very first time in this, and it is going to be Sol Ruca. Man, talk about a contrast between partners, Damian Priest and Sol Ruca. Interesting. Alright, now this is going to be team number 3, and I think I forgot to mention that there's going to be 8 teams, so this is team 3 out of 8, and it is Jimmy Uso, another experienced mixed match challenger, of course teaming up with his wife Naomi. Now Naomi is no longer in the company, so I don't have her listed on here, but Jimmy Uso's partner is going to be Zelina Vega. Now Zelina has not been in the mixed match challenge before, but she has had a few mixed tag team matches on TV recently, so this is an experienced team. Alright, and now this spin is to create the 4th team in the Mixed Match Challenge, and it looks like the first member is going to be Veer, which means Veer is coming. Alright, now we are spinning to get Veer's partner, and Veer's partner is going to be someone else from NXT, Valentina Feroz. That's actually pretty interesting because Veer and Sangha are currently a team, and Sangha and Valentina used to be friends, so this would actually have a pretty interesting dynamic. Alright, now let's just keep moving along, keep creating these teams. This is team number 5. It's going to be another person from NXT, I think. Yeah, Braun Breaker. Wow, okay. Alright, now we're spinning again, getting Braun Breaker's partner, and that is going to be Chelsea Green. I'm going to be honest, I think this is my new favorite team right here. Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green. Wow. Okay, and now we are moving on to team number 6, and I think that's another guy from NXT. Idris Enofe. Wow, okay, that is very interesting. That's a deep cut right there. Okay, now let's get this 6th team finished. Who is going to be Idris Enofe's partner? It is going to be Elektra Lopez. Wow. I thought for sure Veer and Valentina Feroz was going to be the underdog team, but I think this takes the cake for that title. Okay, now this is team number 7, so we're moving on to the final 2 teams for this mixed match challenge. And that's going to be Julius Creed. Wow, we're getting a lot of NXT people in these teams, but Julius Creed is awesome, so this should be cool. Alright, now will Julius Creed be with Ivy Nile? After all, they are in the same faction of real life. Doesn't look like it though. It's going to be Becky Lynch. Wow, another mixed match challenge veteran. Becky Lynch teamed up with Sami Zayn, so this seems like an incredible team right here. Okay, now this is going to be the 8th and final team in the mixed match challenge. Who is going to be the male on this team? Giovanni Vinci. Alright, that's pretty cool. Now this is the final spin for the final woman for the final team. Who is going to be Giovanni Vinci's tag team partner? Gigi Dolan. So you're telling me that we have Giovanni and Gigi on one team. I love that. I think that's awesome. Alright, so now we have all the teams figured out, and now it's time to just put it all into 2K. Okay, now here we are with every team in 2K. I randomly drew who was going to be facing who. I unfortunately don't have footage of that, but you're just gonna have to believe me that this really was all random. So first we have Chelsea Green and Braun Breaker, aka Breaking Bad, taking on the team of Valentina Feroz and Veer Mahan, aka VVs or VVS Diamonds, whatever. Then Damian Priest and Sol Ruka, aka Making Waves, are going to take on Damian Priest's stablemate, Finn Balor, and Dakota Kai, aka The Prince and the King. Then Becky Lynch and Julius, aka Diamonds are the man's best friend. Come on, you can't tell me that's not clever. Taking on Giovanni Vinci and Gigi Dolan, aka GGO, self-explanatory. Then Zelina Vega and Jimmy Uso, aka LW Uso, are taking on the biggest underdog team in my opinion, Elektra Lopez and Edris Enofe, aka Double E Battery. Now, it's time to simulate all the games and find out who is the best mixed match challenge team. Alright, now I'm coming at you with post-match commentary for all of the matches. I don't really have a way of recording my mic live while recording, so you're just going to have to live with this, but I'm still going to show off every match, show highlights and clips, and give thoughts on all of them. And so, yeah, this first one here is Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green versus Valentina Feroz and Veer Mahan. This was definitely the longest match out of any match in the tournament. This match I think was like 20 something minutes long. I don't even know exactly, but it was a very long match just because most of this match was just Braun Breaker hitting his finisher or spear and Valentina Feroz being there to break it up. Like seriously, Veer Mahan owes Valentina Feroz big time because she saved his ass a lot. I mean, I'm serious. Most of this match was just Braun Breaker hitting the Gorilla Press Power Slam or a spear and Valentina Feroz being there to break up the pin. The match could have been over in like 5 or 10 minutes, but yeah, Valentina Feroz was just always there to do it. But Chelsea and Valentina had great moments between themselves as well. They were super fun, super physical. I mean, the whole match in general was pretty good. But the match ended with Chelsea Green hitting a power bomb out of nowhere when it's not even her finish. But honestly, I was just relieved to see the match end. So yeah, moving on to the second round is going to be Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green, Breaking Bad. But Valentina Feroz and Veer Mahan, they put up a valiant effort, but Valentina Feroz kind of carried. Alright, so the next match was Damian Priest and Sol Ruka versus Finn Balor and Dakota Kai. So obviously this match was very interesting because Damian Priest and Finn Balor are both at the Judgment Day, and so they were going against each other, and they were with some interesting partners to say the least. I mean, at least Dakota Kai and Finn Balor are kind of similar, but Sol Ruka and Damian Priest are like completely different, so it was really interesting seeing how they would work together. But there was a lot of even offense in this match between the men and the women. I mean, everyone was basically hitting their finishers except for Sol Ruka, but like even Dakota Kai hitting her finisher, that didn't work. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace here, and somehow that didn't work. Damian Priest hit South from Heaven, that somehow didn't work. I mean, there was a lot of offense in this match, and it was super fun, and it really felt like the match could have gone either way, honestly. But in the end, Dakota Kai ended up picking up the win here, and I'm not even sure what this is called, her finisher, this kick, but it's super cool. I really liked it. I really liked how Finn Balor stopped Damian Priest at the end as well, and so yeah, moving on will be Dakota Kai and Finn Balor. Now the third match was Julius Creed and Becky Lynch taking on Gigi Dolan and Giovanni Vinci. This was another really fun match, very back and forth between the two teams. Even right there, Gigi Dolan tried pinning Becky Lynch with an eye rake. If any wrestler in the world ever comes up with like an eye rake finisher, they might just become my favorite wrestler of all time, to be honest. But anyways, this was super cool. There was a lot of fun stuff that I've like never seen before, like Giovanni doing that, jumping off of the top of the rope. That was crazy. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Obviously, Giovanni Vinci and Julius Creed are some powerhouses. I mean, they were just throwing each other around for fun. I mean, Julius Creed hit this finisher right here like several different times. The pin kept getting broken up, but he just kept on hitting it time after time after time. It was unbelievable. I mean, this guy in real life is already incredible, but in the game, he just showed off how incredible he was as well. And obviously, being good in the game is more important than being good in real life. And anyways, Julius Creed picked up the pin. So Julius Creed and Becky Lynch will be moving on. Okay, and this was the last match of round 1. Jimmy Uso and Zelina Vega taking on Elektra Lopez and Edris Enofe. I thought this had some interesting connections as well because Jimmy Uso and Edris Enofe are both tag team guys, and then Elektra Lopez was in Legado del Fantasma, and then Zelina Vega took her place, and that is now called Latino World Order, so they have an interesting rivalry there built in as well. But this was the shortest match of the entire tournament, and I kind of figured it would be that way just because of the team of Elektra Lopez and Idris Enofe, but they actually did well to go up against Jimmy Uso and Zelina Vega, and then here, for some reason, Jimmy Uso just let Elektra Lopez pin Zelina Vega, and so the underdogs, the worst team I thought, are now moving on. Okay, so now that the first round is concluded, we now have our 4 remaining teams left in the Mixed Match Challenge. Chelsea Green and Braun Breaker taking on Dakota Kai and Finn Balor, and then Becky Lynch and Julius Creed taking on Elektra Lopez and Idris Enofe. Let's get into the second round. Okay, and now into the first match of the second round, Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green taking on Dakota Kai and Finn Balor. Now this was a pretty fun match as well. Braun Breaker and Finn Balor, they were having their fair share of offense, but Dakota Kai and Chelsea Green were honestly dominating this match. They were doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this match. I mean, they were going crazy. Like I said, Finn Balor and Braun Breaker did have their fair share of offense, but the match was pretty much dominated by Dakota Kai and Chelsea Green, and they were really showing out in this match. Now, I was really looking forward to this match just because Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green was probably my favorite combination, but Finn Balor and Dakota Kai was also just a really good team of well-established stars. So I was just really interested in seeing how this would play out between the two teams, and well, in the end, Chelsea Green ended up picking up the win for her team again, but this time actually with her finisher. And this was a super great match, and now this means that Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green will be moving on to the final of the Mixed Match Challenge. And now we have the second match to determine who else will be in the final. Julius Creed and Becky Lynch taking on Elektra Lopez and Idris Enofe. Now this match was super interesting to me just because of how strong Julius Creed and Becky Lynch were heading into this, whereas Elektra Lopez and Idris Enofe were still basically the underdog team and had the shortest match heading into this. Now this was a super cool moment to see Idris Enofe not hitting just one moonsault but 2 moonsaults on Julius Creed. Now in real life, Idris Enofe and Julius Creed are both tag team guys, but I really feel like both of them have the potential to be world-class singles guys, and I would love to see a potential feud between the two of them, especially with the fact that Idris Enofe just hit 2 moonsaults. And then right here is one of my favorite parts of the match. Idris Enofe tried to hit a moonsault, completely missed, and then Julius Creed responded by hitting his own moonsault. That is the kind of stuff I'm talking about that they could produce, because that is absolutely crazy. And then right here was also something really interesting to see too. This was the first time in literally any of the matches that I saw a double team move being hit, which I thought was pretty weird, but pretty cool too. But this didn't turn out the way that Becky Lynch and Julius Creed thought it would. But that didn't matter because Becky Lynch won the match with a flying forearm on Elektra Lopez, which was completely random, but whatever it was, it earned Julius Creed and Becky Lynch a spot in the final of the Mixed Match Challenge. And after all of that, we are now here at the final of the Mixed Match Challenge. Chelsea Green and Braun Breaker taking on Becky Lynch and Julius Creed. Let's get into it. Alright, and here we are into the final of the Mixed Match Challenge. After every match, we have finally reached this point. And this was a pretty fun match. I think this was like the second longest match out of all of them, so Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green have just been the workhorses of this whole tournament, just having long match after long match. And yeah, like I said, this match was super fun. Obviously, Becky Lynch and Chelsea Green going at it. They're some of my favorite women currently in WWE. You know, I think that Chelsea Green has by far been the best return under Triple H. I mean, she's been a lot of fun to watch, and I hope she does a lot more as well. But also, Julius Creed and Braun Breaker, I mean, some of the best guys currently in NXT. I really like the both of them, and I feel like there's definitely like a huge rivalry between them that could eventually be built up, and so I'm super excited for their futures as well. And in this match, they were hard hitting, they were physical, they were even with each other. You know, Julius Creed hitting 2 finishers on Braun Breaker, which was absolutely nuts. Chelsea Green hitting that signature as well, which is super cool looking as well. This match was just a lot. There was a lot happening in this match. You know, another double team move happening. I mean, I was surprised to see a double team move work the first time, but then seeing it happen again, especially with Becky Lynch and Julius Creed actually hitting it successfully this time, was super cool. And then Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green responded with their own double team move, which I was shocked to see. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I really wanted to see from this tournament, seeing the teams actually start working together really well. And so this was just super fun to see. And then Braun Breaker ended up getting the pin on Julius Creed with his finisher, the Gorilla Press Power Slam, meaning that Braun Breaker and Chelsea Green, Breaking Bad, as I call them, are your new winners of the Mixed Match Challenge. Alright, and here we are, the winners of the Mixed Match Challenge, Chelsea Green and Braun Breaker. This was a super fun tournament to do. I really enjoy doing this, and I would love to do even more mixed match challenge tournaments just because of how many people there are currently in WWE, but also just of all time in general. I mean, I could create so many more tournaments, so let me know down in the comments if you would like to see more of that. Let me know what else you'd like to see from me. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, and yeah, thank you for watching.